Hello, I am Ajsalanga 1A, and I'm about to teach you about propositional logic. And without further ado, let's get started with my introduction to propositional logic. So, what is proposition? A proposition is a declarative statement, means it provides information and has possible outcomes, true or false. Additionally, a declarative statement or proposition doesn't order or simply ask a question, while a discipline of required inference that examines reasoning called logic. This logical argument serves as the foundation for all we know about mathematics. There are four different categories of logic. It is the informal logic, formal logic, symbolic logic, and lastly, mathematical logic. Here, we will focus on mathematical logic. So, mathematical logic. The language of mathematical logic is one where each word is intended to have specific meaning. The logic claims may be expressed in words alone, plus symbols alone, or just false. So, let's now begin discussing the propositional logic subfield. As I stated earlier, propositions is a declarative sentence that may be true or false but not both or false. It is shown using letters like P, Q, R, and S. And keep in mind that the truth table often employ these four characters. And next is truth value. Truth value are used to indicate whether a statement is true. They may be tilted as T for true statements and F for false statements. There are two sorts of propositions. It is simple propositions and compound propositions. Simple propositions are informational phrases that are grammatically independent. Example of these are: number 1, the car is very old. AJ bought a house. Lastly, 3, I am bigger than you. As you can see, each of these three is an independent statements. And next is compound propositions. Compound propositions are made up of two or more propositions connected by additional words like and, or, and but. It contains two or more propositions joined by connective. And these connective such as and, or, if, then, and only. Here is the example of compound propositions. Number 1. Exercise is generally helpful and you should engage in it. Number 2, the car is very old and it is very cheap. These two assertions are connected by connectives as you can see. And then. And lastly, number 3. The number 3 example is if AJ bought a house, then he is very rich. It's a pair of propositions that are connected by conjunctions if and then, just like the number 1. As you can see, the presentation. So, more example. P is equal, the narrow tree is the national tree of the Philippines. The first condition that we can use to determine if it is a declarative sentence is that it has a punctuation mark, which is the period seen in the sentence. The second condition that we can use is if the sentence shares information. And it is indeed that this sentence is a proposition, and now let's determine the truth value of the sentence. It is the truth that the narrow tree is the national tree of the Philippines, and yes, the truth value of this sentence is true. Number 2, 3 minus 3 is equal 6. This is a proposition since it is a declarative statement. We can determine its value by checking facts and proving it. 3 minus 3 is not equal to 6, yet it is equal to 0. Therefore, its truth value is false. And the last example is, what is your name? It is not a proposition since asking questions is not a declarative sentence. Therefore, we cannot determine its truth value since it cannot be answered by true or false. And the end. I really hope you learned anything about propositional logic. Thank you.